Okay, going back 2 lectures, I was talking to you and I was beginning off with John Mellencamp, Scarecrow album. And once again, I'm just giving you a small clip. I've changed my hat. And why did I want to talk to you about John Mellencamp's album Scarecrow? Well, when I look at the back here, it says it's copyright 1985. So this is time travel. And what do we want to know about time travel 1985? Well, this album was around the time of what was known as Farm Aid. It was artists who were working to raise consciousness of the American farmer and what a tough time they were having. Willie Nelson was another one that was into Farm Aid. Well, what's happened since 1985? We're into 2020. So, 35 years later, I don't know. 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 I don't live in a really farm area, so it's not like I can go, down the highway and talk to one of these 1985 farmers to see how they're doing. Did they get all bought out by corporate interests, or is there still a family farm? I don't know. I don't know, and it doesn't seem to be a priority for media to talk about what's going on with the American farmer. It seems like in 85, the American farmer was at his wit's end, maybe at her wit's end. Because it was hard to make things work out. At the same time as the farmers having a great deal of trouble, we had the Rust Belt, which was failure of American businesses in the northern states that used to manufacture things, and it was the beginning of globalization, and things were made overseas. Well, this is not a MAGA hat, Make America Great Again, but it is almost like that. It's a red hat. And what would you say about Mr. Trump and making America great again? I think they really don't tell you the truth. What do you hear? The stock market is way up, and unemployment is down. But when I saw that, I looked into the details. It seems like they really work hard to make that unemployment number go down, primarily because it's kind of a phony baloney number. The way they count unemployed really seems like it's a bullshit number. A quality of life of the American worker. I mean, if you're working at the donut shop for minimum wage, is that really, a quality job? Okay, let's talk about what would life be like if we were in a fifth dimensional world. What would it be like for an industrial worker, and what would it be like for a farmer? Most likely, what we would see for the industrial worker is they would In other words. And for the farmer, it's someone says ditto. Let's see. For the farmer, what's it like in a fifth dimensional world? No words. Okay, so we can't even go by the book. We can't even go by the book. Waking up in 5D because there's nothing in here about the industrial worker and about the farmer. What is in here? Well, let's turn to a page at random. And let's see. What do they talk about? The 12th dimension is the place of pure consciousness and light consciousness. It is the environment that is so connected to itself that there is no separation of any kind. It is for some the stopping point of creation. The 13th dimension appears to me as unity consciousness and a place for new beginnings. I have experienced this energy as the place where the thoughts of not God would cause pain and are truly unthinkable. Love is the essence of all here, and even this description is insufficient. One of the ways to experience multidimensionality is to completely blank out. Generally, when you forget what you saw or did in your meditation, you've gone so high there is no reference point. Another way the mind deals with the overload of changing the way you experience and understand the world around you is forgetfulness. You're about to do something and then you realize that you've forgotten what you were thinking about and you're afraid it might be serious. This forgetfulness is an ideal moment for consciousness to completely disengage from one version of reality to another. Each of these moments is a form of unhooking from the ego's holding on mechanisms. If it has been happening a lot lately, consider the fact that you may be jumping dimensions and that you simply aren't able to hold your awareness in both yet. Well, is it scary? The book on fifth dimension? Yes. Why? Because it's not answering our question. What about the farmer? What about the industrial worker? What about being grounded in real life on this planet? This sounds like mumbo jumbo, and I don't want a lesson in mumbo jumbo. I want something useful. Dream big. Don't slurp your coffee. Okay, what else can we talk about? It seems like the fifth dimension is something to do with the way your brain works. You've got a thought in your head, and it says, well, the ego in 3D hooks your thought in. It hooks it in, so you get to have your thought, and it's you that keeps it in your mind, in your little brain, until you're tired of that thought. You've used that thought, now it's time to move on to a new thinking. In 5D, it seems, it's more like an automatic thing. In other words, I've got something I'm thinking about, and not up to me, up to something else, decides to push that thought out of my mind and out of my brain. Where the hell did that thought go? I don't even remember what that thought was. This sounds not so good. It sounds like dementia to me. So the fifth dimension is dementia, which means I'm going to have to go to a nursing home and have people put me in adult diapers and maybe... Yeah, this is the problem. When you hear stories like this, you go, doesn't sound very good. So why does that come up? It comes up because, like it or not, you are entering a different dimension where 3D ways of doing things, it doesn't do that. And you've got cognitive dissonance, which is a psychological term for meaning I knew the way the old thing was, and this is the way it worked. And now you're giving me something, and you're saying that it's all new, and it doesn't agree with my old way of being. And it kind of feels like the sand is shifting under my feet, and maybe, the whole sand is going to open up into a sinkhole, and I'm going to end up, buried in sand because I can't control whether a thought stays in my head or not. Well, it doesn't sound too convincing when you read Maureen Saint Germain's book, Waking Up in 5D. It sounds. Uh, can we? I don't know. Let's go see if there's a football game on. Well, let's change the subject. And I don't want to ever hear anyone mention the fifth dimension or 5D again. Okay. I can put John Mellencamp's record on again. No, we are going to finish you off with what? Donald Trump, Make America Great Again. And how are you going to do that when the natural way things are going is more and more automation of manufacturing? Even your taxi driver, it's going to end up like the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Total Recall, and your self driving taxi, it's going to have a robot in there to talk to you, and the robot's going to drive you around. So, human taxi drivers are sort of on the way out. Manufacturing jobs are on the way out, and farming, well, even today, you've got enormous machines that do the work that, 150 years ago, horses and human laborers did. So you cannot stop the march of progress. Even in the 3D world, things are changing. How are you going to make sure that you've got your ducks in a row or something? Evolve or die. Sorry, evolve or die. And if you, well, I'm not going to go too much deeper than it's just the way it is. So if you're evolving, I still don't like the idea of having a thought in my head and then whoosh, there it's gone. That still sounds like dementia to me. How is that evolution? It's your interest in keeping things the way they are that brings about the end of the words. Dream big. Dream big. Dream big. A big dream. What's the big dream? The big dream is we are unable to dream something this vast. So, how's it going to happen? You have to you have to don't cry. Everyone's getting nervous. We don't know where we're going. Um, I'm not going to turn it around backwards. No, it's you and your. I don't have any words anymore. Is that how we end it? It's like, you've just disconvinced me to go and do anything at all. I'm totally bemused, baffled, and I feel like I've been bullshitted. 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 It's your game. My game? No. It's your game? No. Whose game is it? It's the game called What Happens If We Sit Still? Nothing much. What happens if we get up off the couch and go, no. It's because the fifth dimension doesn't run on a 3D mind and a 3D brain. It runs on not quiet, not meditation. It runs on something that we really can't put our finger on. Does it even work? The answer is yes, it does work. And it works because I was kind of skipping a beat there. It's I know it feels like I'm taking too many breaks, so I don't getting good words. Why is I'm not? How does 5D work? You have it in you already. It is you. It's a part of you haven't experienced yet. And we're trying to explain it to your 3D monkey mind. For a lot of monkey minds, if I bought you 12 beer, you might be happier than trying to watch this video where I can't give you in words anything to satisfy you. So go to your beer fridge, grab yourself some beer, and that's all I have for you. You can't get it by the monkey mind listening to words. You can't get it. You can't get it. The nearest hint I can give you is what I give you all the time. It happens by synchronicity and serendipity. It happens when you meditate, which is slowing down, which is, someone says assuming, oh, well, let's assume that there is intelligence, consciousness that doesn't use a lot of words, doesn't use ideologies. Ideologies are ideologies. In other words, I've got a school of thought, a school of ideas. I've got a textbook of ideas, and well, you're using one textbook of ideas. We're going to pull that textbook and give you a new textbook full of words. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. It works on higher consciousness, whatever that is. Synchronicity and I'm not seeing any synchronicities, and I'm sorry. I'm not getting serendipity neither. Do you meditate? If you want to see synchronicities and serendipities, you need to meditate for 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night. Do I need to take a course on meditation? Mostly, like even this book on meditation, this book called Super Consciousness by J. Donald Walters, it's mostly for your 3D monkey mind. It's mostly for that. I mean, if you really want to meditate, what do you do? Well, you sit with your back straight. Sometimes I meditate when I'm lying down, and some people say, no, you're not doing it right. Yes, I am. I'm doing it right. However I'm doing it, it's right. And what are you doing? Um, it appears like I'm doing nothing. I mean, are you in a vegetative state? Well, I'm still alert. Alert to what? Well, whatever comes into my awareness. What about a walking? Yeah, I could do a walking meditation. Are you always quiet or can you talk and meditate? You can talk and meditate. And how do you know that meditation isn't going on in 3D world? Because you all have monkey minds. You are all referring to ideas and thoughts and textbooks and classes and courses that I took to make me qualified to do this job. Am I qualified to do 5D without a course? Yep. Yep. Believe it or not, you don't need courses. That is the biggest difference between 3D and 5D. 5D, you don't need textbooks and courses. I know I've got a lot of books here. Yeah, I do. I've got books, and do they help me? If I was totally 5D, would you still read a book? You might read an interesting book. So what's the real difference? The difference is you are using consciousness that comes to you. Well, can consciousness send you a book? That's a good question. Maybe not. In other words, rather than reading something that someone else got and wrote down in a book, you're going to wing it. What does wing it mean? You're not going to have a textbook. You're not going to have rules of thumb. You're going to wing it. In other words, I'm going to be like the dummy in my 8th grade class. Bad student. And he didn't study for the test. He failed the test. And this is how we're going to run. And who's going to look after maintenance on the railways and the airplanes? I don't want some dummy in there that doesn't know anything about this. It seems like the more you go into this idea of 5D, the more people are going, no, no, I want a really well-trained, experienced mechanic working on the helicopter so that I don't have a problem with the helicopter. However it happened, I don't know the details, but, however Kobe Bryant crashed in his helicopter, they must have had incompetent mechanics or pilots or... It's just the way it is. I don't know if in 5D people will get advanced training in how to maintain a helicopter, or if they'll just go to the helicopter. I mean, if you remember back to the Matrix movies with Keanu Reeves, he didn't really take courses, did he? They kind of gave him downloads into his mind on how to do kung fu. So is that how it's going to be? Like, the helicopter needs maintaining and they're going to give me a download into my mind on how to fix it? This was actually an episode of the original Star Trek in the 1960s, an episode called Spock's Brain. Dr. McCoy was a good doctor, but he didn't know how to fix Spock's brain. So they put on a intelligence helmet onto Dr. McCoy, and he got a download on how to fix Spock's brain. Do you need technology to get a 5D download? No. No. You're already set up for it. All right, well, so what am I supposed to do? If you find yourself with a lot of thoughts going on in your mind, you're 3D. If you have inner silence in your mind, you're probably past 5D. So that's the key. With your meditations, you're wanting to quiet your monkey mind. The monkey mind is the mind that's full of thoughts. It keeps talking and talking and talking. If that's what's going on, that's a 3D monkey mind, and don't bother paying attention to it. It's just going to make you nervous and frightened and full of anxiety, and it's going to tell you to go and buy another case of beer. So you have to get to inner silence, which is beyond 5D. And in order to get there, mostly what you do is you watch your monkey mind. So well, if you're sitting here and, well, for me, I've just got monkey mind talking. It's talking about yesterday's pizza and, what are we going to eat today? And, what's my neighbor doing? I can hear some loud banging over there. You just watch the monkey mind. You become the watcher of the monkey mind. So you're not the monkey mind. And if the monkey mind tells you it's time to go get more beer, you just ignore it. For 20 minutes. Can I have a beer after my 20 minutes? It's up to you. Make America great again through inner silence. And as far as John Mellencamp and if you want to get very creative, listen to your monkey mind or inner silence. Maybe you're going to help yourself to another beer. No, I'm not going to quit yet. Someone wants to push me here and give me my thumb, push the red button to stop it. No, I'm not quite done. I'm going to give you. Yeah, I'm done. It's already 27 minutes in, and somebody said I like a 4-minute video. I'm sorry, I can't get all my points across in 4-minute gaps, or I could, hit 4 minutes and just hit stop, and then, you'd have to go on to the next video. I'm the transdimensional taxi driver.